Our weekly conversation with Fox News legal analyst Lis Wiehl. She's, or legalese Lis Wiehl, and we're checking the docket. An interesting case where a CIA officer's trial reverberates back to freedom of the press issues. Can you give us the backstory, Lis?
Sure. There's a 7-year battle with the feds over whether or not this New York Times reporter, James Risen, has to testify at the trial of Geoffrey Sterling. This is the former CIA officer, about whether or not Sterling leaked information to Risen. And Risen said, I'm not taking the stand. I'm not telling you who my sources are for any of my reporting. Send me to prison if you want. And well, I don't think he said it quite like that. I'm making a little
but that
bit
would have happened, I suppose.
That's the gist of it, though.
Yeah.
He's a little more...
somebody here in the office, Judith Miller, who went to jail over exactly this. And, you know, it's kind of rule number one as a journalist. You give... If you get information and you're told that it's going to be confidential off the record, that's it. You have to be willing to even potentially go to prison over it.
Yeah, you can't.
You
cannot divulge that. You cannot give that over.
No,
it's similar to attorney-client privilege and the privacy between the doctor and
well, think about
the patient.
If you went to an attorney or you went to a doctor, and you were worried that what you told them for a diagnosis or for a legal analysis would be turned over to a third party, you wouldn't say anything, or you'd couch it. I mean, you would be afraid to become clean, and that would be very detrimental, obviously, to your health or to your your case.
And what I don't get, Lis, though, is why the government put Mr. Eisen through the ringer for what?
I don't know, 7 years.
7 years before deciding, I guess we're not going to put you in jail if you don't testify in this case.
I don't understand it either. I mean, 7 years, and I don't know James Risen. I have no dog in this race, but I would just think that's horrible to have that weighing over your head for 7 years. You know, and your attorneys are telling you, look, you're going to be fine. You have this privilege.
Yeah,
but
we don't. We don't have that federal shield.
Exactly, you don't know that.
Who paid his legal bill? Do you know?
You know, I don't. I would assume the Times did. I'm looking through my notes here, but I don't have anything on who paid it. But
that's a good assumption that the Times would pay.
Yeah, I'm sure the New York Times would have paid for it.
Yeah, I would hope so, because they weren't going to run the story that eventually came out in his book. He put the story in the book because the Times wasn't going to run it.
Yeah.
Right, and it depends on where you live, too. Like, New York has a shield law, but then we had a reporter, Jana Winter, who reported on the theater shooting in Aurora, Colorado.
She was almost sentenced.
She was almost, and the problem there was they were saying, well, Colorado doesn't have the shield law, so
they don't need one.
I know,
Nice.
I know. That's what's so crazy. It should be uniformity. There's a reporter's privilege based on the First Amendment.
Yeah, well, the government learned its lesson in trying to pursue this in court. Let's just go tap the information and glean the information of other reporters, like, let's say, James
AP.
Rosen, for example.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And the AP and everybody else. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Okay, so I know that his case, as far as forcing him to divulge the sources, that's out, and he's also not going to be forced to testify in defense of anyone, right?
Not according to the government,
right.
But what does this federal judge say?
Well, that he's not going to be forced to testify. So that's the first thing that's going on. The second thing, she just Leona Brinkema, I think I got that right. She said no to the government's request to bar him from testifying, and that she hasn't yet ruled on a jury instruction for Risen, or not for Risen, for Sterling. So you got to go back and forth because there's a CIA guy and there's Risen, two different things.
Yeah, Geoffrey Sterling is a CIA officer that goes on trial. And what was his alleged crime? What did he do? Leaking information
leaking classified information
to the reporter.
Yes, exactly.
About a botched CIA operation against Iran.
Exactly. And look, the person who leaks, they can get in trouble. But if the reporter says, "I'm not going to say,"
boy, they sure can. We know that from Stephen Kim.
Exactly. So the person that leaks can get in trouble. The person that publishes what is leaked to them, that's fair game.
Lis, thank you much. That's Lis Wiehl, Fox News legal analyst, joining us on 710 KURV.